Shalom. Today we're going to look at Hashkafas HaTorah, the philosophy of the Torah. And what we're going to see is that on every Friday night, we say Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshis. In our Kiddush, we mention the creation because Shabbos is remembering the creation. And the seventh day, we take a day of rest to remember the 6 days of creation and that God created the world. Now, this is interesting because there's another aspect of the world that we have to mention, which is the Yetzias Mitzrayim, the Exodus from Egypt. Every Friday night, if you notice in your Kiddush, you're not only mentioning the fact that God created the world, Zecher L'Maaseh Bereshis, but you're also mentioning Zecher L'Yetzias Mitzrayim. And why is it that we have to mention Yetzias Mitzrayim, the Exodus from Egypt? Because it's an important philosophical point. It's not enough that we mention that God created the world, because then you can imagine God created the world and walked away and has nothing to do with the world anymore. That's not true. God involves himself in the world, is concerned with the world, and through his providence, interferes with the occurrences of the world. And that's exactly what happened when we left Egypt. We should have been slaves forever, right? We should have been, till this day, we should be Paro slaves. But because God interfered with the everyday events, so therefore, we see that God involves himself in the world. And therefore, on Friday night, it's not enough in our Kiddush just to mention that God created the world. We also have to mention that God interferes in the world and takes place in the world, and therefore we mention the Exodus from Egypt every Friday night. Shalom.